Money do you win? $50,000.
Great success.
That's what I got.
Come on, Chris. Come on, 2 more.
And still, 4-time Olympian.
Let's go, finish strong.
Webster.
Well, what is up, YouTube? I am going to be doing a Q&A today focused solely on the Olympia. I found a trick too. If I put up with question boxes, they're just all over the place, but if I give you specified questions to give me, such as Olympia focused, I get a lot better questions. At least kind of better questions, but you guys can still step it up. But anyways, I'm going to get into this Q&A. I'm just going to run through the questions I think are interesting, and they're all focused on Olympia, so stay tuned. First question, did you change your sleep habit? I am very big on sleep, especially in prep. Sleep is so important for bodybuilding, especially in prep in terms of cortisol, make sure your body fat's still dropping, but also recovery and everything. And I just am obsessed with it, especially in prep. So yeah, my sleep habits change a lot. I started wearing these like blue light blocking glasses at night for a while. I try not to be on my phone at night. I put my phone on airplane mode an hour before bed. I try and go to bed every night at like 10 p.m., which is really early for me. And I try and make sure that I'm like up at the same time every day and I'm on the same sleep schedule, which gets my circadian rhythm in a rhythm, and it makes my energy level more consistent and more reliable so that I can do what I need to do all day. But sleep is fucking huge, and I think everyone should be on like a strict schedule to be consistent with it. When did you start to implement more cardio? How many weeks out and duration? So optimally, you should do cardio all year, and I flake off sometimes, but I usually do at least 20-30 minutes 5 times a week, and that's how I started my prep at about 16 weeks out, and it slowly just ramps up as I need it. So it started there, and then the longest it sat at was 45 minutes for like 8 weeks. I just did 45 minutes in the morning, and Hani didn't want me doing longer than one session of 45 minutes, so he added another session later on, which was 30 minutes. So the most cardio we did all prep over the last 4 weeks was an hour and 15 minutes total, split up into 45 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in post-workout. How do you stay motivating knowing that you're already miles ahead? First of all, I don't know or feel like I'm miles ahead. I also try not to let myself believe that. Second of all, I'm truly not focused anymore on trying to beat someone. The last person I tried to beat, like genuinely, was Breon when he beat me, and I was like, okay, fuck, if I want to win the Olympia, I felt like I had to beat Breon. But even then, I should have been focusing on beating myself. But now at the top, I have this probably impossible vision in my mind of a physique that I want to see in pictures and on stage, and when I have that, then like I'll be like, I'm happy, but I probably won't ever get that. But it's more of like a legacy that I really want to build right now, and an internal satisfaction of my previous self that I want to beat. So bettering myself every single year is something that I'm excited to be. So being miles ahead of people doesn't affect my motivation in any way. Nothing to do with it. My goals are a lot more intrinsic of being my best self and knowing how hard I worked in years past and being able to work harder than that this year. Could you describe what you felt right before going on stage? So every year's a little bit different, and this was the first year where I was like actually pretty just like calm getting on stage. I was like backstage, and it was in the morning. Hani was there, Melissa was there, Calvin was there, everyone was backstage, recording was there, we're all like chilling, so it's super like laid back and relaxed. And it was a bit of a battle in my mind with my torn bicep, trying to like not focus on that, but also be there. But I felt this, like, last year I did too, but I just felt like the champ stepping on stage. I was like, you know, I've been here, I'm a veteran, been on this Olympia stage, just go out there and fuck shit up. And I just felt confident and like I was ready to rock and roll. So it was fun this year not having like, I kind of missed the nerves a little bit because I used to be more nervous. I've still got them to do my routine because I hate doing routines. But, you know, I was confident this year and it was just fun to get up there. I heard before the show bodybuilders dehydrate themselves, and when do they start? So what I've learned in getting in better conditioning over the year and working harder in my prep is that the leaner and better in shape you are, the less you need to dehydrate yourself, so to speak. So we typically cut water, and I'll get to that, but you don't need to, like, a lot of people are like, oh, when I take a diuretic, I'm gonna look better. If I cut water, then I'm gonna look like I'm in shape. Like, if you're in shape, even drinking water all day, you're gonna look lean. And you're gonna wake up every morning just naturally dry because you pee throughout the night and you're not drinking water. And the less body fat you have, the less water you're gonna hold on to. But with that being said, I cut water Friday afternoon. I reduced it. I think I had like a liter Friday afternoon for the rest of the day, so it wasn't like nothing. And then I had like a liter probably all Saturday until after the night show. So not like I have zero water, but I'm just like restricting it a little bit. But you only do it for, that was 36 hours I was restricting it, but you're not cutting it fully if you're in shape. So nothing drastic at all. I chose this question just to laugh at you, but it says, do you think about competing in the 212 category one day? I don't think people understand I'm 240 pounds on stage, and 212 means you're 212 pounds or less. So I would have to lose 28 pounds just to make it in that class. I would not look good losing 28 pounds. My first show ever, I was like 211. I don't think I'm gonna be 212, so no, I'm not gonna do the 212. What do you do the night before the show? So the night before the show, typically Ian's competing and Melissa and Courtney will go watch the night show, and with Ian competing the night before, so I'll be alone in the hotel room, just like chilling. Last year, I made up my whole routine in an hour alone in the Airbnb. I was in Orlando. It was when we were in Orlando, and I was just like listening to my music, playing that. But honestly, this year I was just watching. I think I was watching Wolverine on Disney. I was watching some X-Men, and I just try to be super laid back. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not diving into anything. I'm not even really trying to think too deeply about the show. I'm just trying to relax. You know, the work is done. I've enjoyed it, and I'm just kind of trying to get my mind off things. I go to bed super early because I wake up at 5 a.m. every day, every show day, and I'm just trying to go to bed. But I also used to have like a burger and fries the night before shows and like really fuel up, but it's really inconsistent with how your body will react to that. So typically I just have a decent sized meal. This year I think I just had like 400 grams of rice and 100 grams of steak, filet mignon, because it was delicious. But ate that, went to bed early, and had a good nap, but nothing crazy the day before the show. How did you handle it when things weren't going exactly how you wanted them to? I think this is asking in regards to my bicep, and this is something I spoke about in that video on my Instagram, but it was just a battle that I had to go through, and I had to I've been through a lot of shit going into Olympia preps, and I just had to kind of remember like the mindset I've established, how many times I've done this before, and how capable I am to take things that are coming into my life and build that focus on what's in my control, what's not in my control. I was not in my control of what I could do to my bicep. I couldn't heal it, I couldn't bring the inflammation down, I couldn't fix it. I didn't even know what was wrong with it at the point, but what was in my control was to keep following the plan, get on stage with confidence, get on stage with some champion mindset, and just like be the best I could be out there. And that's all my focus was. My focus was on enjoying the moment and controlling what I can control. And that's all you can do in life. And when you can kind of take a step back, when you're feeling anxious, stressed, whatever, if you can just like sit in that. Don't try and deny it, don't try and bury it. Just like feel it for a moment and be like, okay, like I feel anxious, stressed about this. What's going on right now? Why am I stressing about that? Can I even do anything about a torn bicep right now? No. So like, what can you do right now, and do that? And I just kind of had to walk myself through that, feel the stress, not deny it, and just move forward. Approximately how many hours you train per day? So peak time in the gym, the highest amount of time I was in the gym was 45 minutes of cardio plus 30 minutes of cardio, an hour and 15 plus about a 2-hour workout. So 3 hours and 15 minutes of cardio plus training was the most I probably ever did. In the past I've trained for like 3 hours, but I was just bullshitting, talking with my friends back in college. But highest prep was 3 hours, 15 minutes in the gym or working out. Do you have self-doubt before stage day? Mentally, how do you deal with negative thoughts? So I don't really have self-doubt in my ability to win. I think I just put a really high amount of pressure on myself, and it increases every single year. And you can almost see my demeanor shift to like a little tense, because I'm like, fuck, there's this like pressure on me. And then immediately after Olympia, I'm like, my shoulders drop a little bit. I'm a little bit relaxed. And that's not doubt that I have in myself. Like I said, it's just like that pressure of just like, feel like, fuck, I have to be perfect. Fuck, I have to do this. Everyone's expecting this. And the only way I can deal with that is to try to remove myself from that and take a step back and be like, what are you fucking stressing about right now? Like, this isn't helping where you're trying to go right now. And like, in my heart, I believe that I can win. I have the ability in me. I will never say I'm going to win. I've already won. I won't speak like that because I know that I have no control over the future. I just know I have control in what I know I can do, and I believe in myself to win. So when I kind of remember that that's already inside me, and I've already done this 4 times now, I kind of can help myself relax a little bit. But usually when you get caught up in those feelings of doubt, if you're having them, or pressure or stress, all you just need to do is just like look at them as like you're like an outside perspective looking down on yourself, or remove yourself from a little bit, and just like realize it's just fucking thoughts in your brain. So chill the fuck out. Should there be a limit on competitors at the Olympia? 59 in classic was a lot. ... I agree with this. I think there should be a cap amount of people, 15 to 20 people at the Olympia max. And it may seem harsh because you're cutting 40 people out, but I also think those 40 people will eventually make it to the Olympia, and when they do, it'll be a lot more rewarding. The harder it is to achieve something, the more rewarding, the more prestigious it is. And the Olympia is the most prestigious show in the world, so I think the less people that go to it, the even more prestige will add to it. And they also have to pay for all the people to come out, so business-wise, I think it would help the Olympia, and it would add to the prestige of the show, and it would be a lot easier time-wise to run it. I think they were going on until midnight, 1 a.m. For a few parts of the show, and that's because there's so many people on stage. So there's a lot of things I think that would help from having less people, but there's a lot of shows in the year, so I don't really know how they'd manage that. What's your favorite pose? This is adapted now. My favorite pose when I was young and I had a tiny waist and big ass lats was the front lat spread. Still one of my favorite poses. Sadly, it's not a mandatory pose, but I always hit it in my free posing. But my favorite pose this year was definitely side chest, which is cool because I used to be kind of thin from the side, but as I've got more muscle maturity and muscle mass, from the side I have like a hamstring drop and like a little bit thicker chest, and it's harder to look big from the side when you're tall. So now that I do, side chest is my favorite pose. During prep, do you set short-term goals in conjunction to the Olympia, or do you keep a more narrow focus? I definitely do both. I have a narrow focus where now at the end of the day, my ultimate driving factor is winning the Olympia, and that's like a huge like intrinsic motivation in terms of like when I'm having a bad day or a shitty day. Overall, I know I'm still fucking good to do whatever I have to do because I want to win the Olympia. But with that being said, I also do have short-term goals within the literal day where I wake up and my only thought is to wake up and get to breakfast sometimes. So it's like, all right, what do I gotta do? I gotta get through cardio right now, and then I get to eat breakfast. And then that's my only focus. I'm not like, fuck, I have to do cardio for 6, 7, 8, 9 more weeks. Kevin's dying by me. I'm not thinking about how much more weeks I gotta do cardio. I'm thinking about my one cardio session, and that's it. I'm thinking about getting my next meal, eating this meal, getting this workout done. At the end, when I'm exhausted and I have to just do legs later in the day, I'm like, okay, just do legs later in the day. That's my only focus. And those short-term goals kind of keep me going. I also have some goals like, oh, I want to get under 250 by like 4 weeks out or something. I want to be under 250 pounds. And then I'm kind of pushing towards that. Then I get there and it's like, all right, now I want to make weight by a week out. And those little things, but I definitely think those help you keep on track and kind of stay driven and focus on something when like a 16-week prep can kind of seem at a reach at a certain point. In prep, how important is it to surround yourself with positive people? I think the higher level you get at anything in life, the people around you are fucking so important, and it's so hard to even notice because they play such a silent, crucial role. But this year especially, I think one of the things I appreciated and valued the most was the circle of people I had around me. It literally felt like a fucking army of people came to help support me, and like it was just like, I can't explain how much it helped. It takes my mind off having to think of things. Calvin's got the camera creating his content and just like kind of silently there. Hani's fucking taking on all the stress, telling me everything to do. Courtney's taking on all the stress, cooking everything. Maddie's being my bodyguard, fucking getting everyone's tickets, planning everything, making sure we got to go everywhere. We had security at the Olympia walking me through so I could get through because it was hectic. And there were just like so many little things of people that came together that helped me just like not have to even think about anything other than competing. And just that helps so much. And also just the thought of not having someone bitching about it. Like, I was a fucking child. I was a little baby and everyone was taking care of me and no one bitched about it. And normally, and I do feel guilty about that stuff, but no one made me feel more guilty than I needed to for it. So people, surrounding yourself with positive people is fucking everything. If you're trying to be the best in the world at something and you have some negative people in your fucking face, you need to cut them the fuck out because they're only going to bring you down and you can't have that kind of energy. unless you want to be second or third or fourth or fifth, but you know, all right, my circle's trying to win, so that's what we're doing. What did you do in off days before the Olympia? So at the beginning of prep, off days, I would always try and come into the office, come into work, and just like distract myself for the longest part of the day. And then I'd go home and I would sauna, cold tub, go to bed super early and just distract myself. By the end, I was too lazy to even drive all the way out here to the warehouse. So I was gaming for a little bit. I started playing God of War Ragnarok, which I didn't finish, and now I probably never will because when I'm not in prep, I don't really game. But I was gaming a little bit. I would sauna, cold tub every single day off. I used to do that a lot more, but then I started overdoing it in my off days during the Olympia prep. I would do cardio, go to the grocery store if I had to, anything to kill time really. But you know, this year I was at a peaceful state, but I was also really fucking tired. And I think I could have literally laid down on my couch and stared at the wall for like 2 hours and been like good, because my brain was so dead. It almost puts you in like a meditative state because you're so low calorie and tired. So just kind of chilled out. Do you get called automatically every year at the Olympia, or do you have to take tests? I think this is a qualifying question. So for those that don't know, when you win the Olympia, you're qualified for life. So I never have to do a show ever. I could, at 80 years old, come back and do the Olympia if I really wanted to. Grandpa Cbum and the Olympia. But other than that, you have to win a show to qualify or be top 3, I think. So I think top 3 re-qualifies for 1 year, and then everyone else has to go win a show. So, you know, let's say you go to the New York Pro, Arnold Pro, whatever, you win that, then you get to go that year. So everybody but me, I guess, has to re-qualify. Was it a difficult adjustment transitioning into FST7 training? So I don't think people understand, but Hani does created FST7, but it's not all he does. I honestly barely even used it. He used it a little bit at the beginning, and I think in my off season we'll utilize a little bit more volume so I don't have to do as much high weight and kind of injure myself, especially now that I have enough muscle mass. But throughout prep, we used it a few times when I had enough food in me, but for the most part, his training was adapted or just very similar to how I train. It was keeping things heavy, kind of volume at a consistent pace, and just kind of moving weight in good form, really. So the biggest thing he changed was pieces of my form and my tempo, because I can kind of rush things a little bit, and slowing down my tempo really helped me a lot this year. But other than that, we weren't really doing a whole lot of FST7, so it wasn't a big transition. And when I added it in, I'm used to doing a lot of volume and intensifiers, so for me, it was nothing. Money do you win? $50,000 for winning Olympia. That's what I got. Which was the most important part to you? Diet, mindset, or training? So I think this is interesting because when I started competing, I thought diet was the most important part. I was like, diet is the only change I made, and I made all the changes. And then when diet was down, I realized that there was so much more untapped potential into my training. And when I really understood how to train effectively, rest properly, train to failure, and balance full intensity with resting, and actually proper training, like people don't understand what the fuck that is and how intense it can be. My physique skyrocketed once again, and I went to a new level. And then when I won the Olympia and the diet and training was kind of down, the hardest part and the most important part that I had to learn was my mindset. I had to learn how to keep myself motivated. I learned how to handle the pressure. I learned to learn how to handle all these outside voices and critics, even all the positive bullshit that I hear, not letting that get to my head. I had to kind of adapt my mindset into keeping myself motivated and disciplined as a champion and kind of coming back to back. People don't understand the pressures it takes to win back to back to back to back titles. It's normally people climb up, reach pinnacle success, and then fall off because it's hard to hold it. So I would say throughout my career they've each been important, but as of most recently, because diet and training is already to me like very good, and I'm still working on it, but mindset has been a huge focus of mine and kind of a priority on increasing. Was your training affected while you were a couple days out from the show? Fuck yes. My training starting at like 3 weeks out started to kind of really decline, and by a week out I was so depleted, so hungry, so tired. I was literally just dragging ass to get to the gym. Like I literally didn't want to work out. I look forward to rest days, which is so rare for me. I literally just wanted to rest because going to the gym was so difficult. And of course it was affected then. My body just doesn't have the energy. I don't have the glycogen stores. I don't have the strength or anything to really push through a workout. So the last week was very affected, very weak. You guys saw the show day videos or peak week videos. I was just like dying in the gym. So it is what it is. why don't you participate in the Arnold Classic? So, as I said, because I won the Olympia, I qualify for life, and I think that puts me in a huge advantage because I can then take 3 months off to really give my body a break, recover and relax, and then I can get into my off season, slowly ease into it, and make the changes and growth that I need to, and then I can start prep, and I don't have to worry about other shows in between, and that gives me an advantage because I get more time in the year in between shows. Arnold Classic is always 6 months. Until the Olympia, 6 months. Post Olympia, each show is every 6 months. So that would literally give me like a month to recover, a month off season, and then I'd be into a 3-month prep. And I would just be like kind of in that cycle super quick with no downtime. And I really want my body to stay young, rested, and youthful because I don't want to start to look old and tired and beat up and injured on stage. All I want to do is win Olympias. That's a legacy I'm trying to build right now. So Arnold is not my priority. How does it feel when it's only you and the other person standing in your way of being 4 times Mr. Olympia? Well, it's funny, reading that question, I never thought of someone standing in my way of winning Olympia. When we're in that top 2, I'm just thinking about getting that medal around my neck and holding that trophy. But in that moment of waiting there, some of my fucking favorite moments of my entire life is standing on the Olympia stage, hearing Bob Ciccarella's voice kind of leading up to that point, and I can often see my family. This year it was a stage I couldn't see them, but I could see Hani down there just looking at me like, you fucking got this, man. And just like the world just kind of blacks out, goes silent, and you're in this like calm, extremely focused, just like present moment, and just very present. It's the best way to explain it. And it's hard to explain what it feels like unless you're there, but it's just like a peaceful bliss. If you can imagine what it feels like to enter heaven for a second, that's kind of what I would say it feels like. So it's definitely a beautiful moment. It's a moment I cherish forever. And it's a feeling I have even before they even announced the winner. Just like all this work you've put in, everything you did it, you brought it here, you just fucking did it. Or take that pressure and that stress off you for a moment and just like enjoy this moment right here. So it's a very peaceful state and something that I love and experience every year. So yeah, it's a good time. Hard to explain in words though. All right, that's gonna be a wrap on this Olympia focused Q&A. If you guys like the video, please like the video. Remember to subscribe. If you have more questions, put them down below. If you like this style of video, fucking tell me if you want more Q&As. Whatever you guys tell me, Calvin's back. We're ready to rock and roll, not in prep. We're just gonna be busting out content. So let me know what you guys want below. Remember, please subscribe. I love you guys. Please subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.